The bell above the shelter door jingled softly as a little girl in a wheelchair rolled inside, her mother gently guiding her through the narrow hallway lined with kennels. Dozens of dogs stirred at their arrival, tails wagging, paws pressing against metal bars, hopeful eyes searching for attention. But the girl's gaze kept drifting past the friendly faces toward the farthest corner, where the shadows clung tightly around a single cage. Inside it waited Titan, a massive German shepherd with a dark saddle of fur, scars across his muzzle, and eyes like burning amber. The staff called him dangerous, unadoptable, a dog too broken to ever trust again. Every warning sign was taped across his file in red. Volunteers whispered their fears. Too aggressive, too far gone. Yet the little girl didn't flinch. Her voice was soft but steady as she pointed toward his cage. "I want to meet him." The room fell silent. The staff exchanged uneasy glances, bracing for disaster. No one expected what happened next, an encounter that would change both of their lives forever. Subscribe to Shepherd Legacy for more true stories of courage and devotion. Tell us in the comments, which city are you watching from today? The shelter always smelled of bleach and damp straw. Its halls echoed with barking, whines, and the occasional hopeful yip of a tail wagging against steel bars. People came and went, scanning kennels filled with eager dogs pressing their noses forward, desperate for a chance. But in the darkest corner of the building, away from the excited commotion, there was one cage no one dared approach. Titan. A massive German shepherd with a tan and black coat, dulled from neglect. Scars tracing his muzzle like a history of battles no one fully understood. His amber eyes burned with mistrust, his ears pinned flat whenever someone drew too close. Titan didn't wag his tail. He didn't whine. He stood rigid, silent, a shadow of the loyal companion he was meant to be. The staff had given up hope. "Too aggressive," they whispered. His file was stamped with warnings, his future sealed by fear. Visitors who passed his kennel recoiled at the low rumble in his chest, quickly moving toward friendlier faces. Titan had been overlooked so many times, he no longer expected kindness. That morning, the bell at the shelter's entrance jingled, announcing new visitors. A young mother pushed a wheelchair through the doorway, her daughter nestled within. The little girl, no older than 7, had dark hair that framed her pale face. Her legs lay motionless beneath a blanket, but her eyes, bright, curious, unafraid, scanned the rows of kennels with wonder. Dogs barked and danced as the wheelchair rolled past, each vying for her attention. She giggled softly at their antics, reaching out a fragile hand toward the bars. But then her gaze drifted to the end of the road. To him, Titan stood half hidden in the shadows of his kennel. His broad frame tense, his eyes fixed on her with the same guarded suspicion he'd given every human before. The little girl, however, didn't recoil. She tilted her head, her smile fading into a look of quiet determination. "Mom," she whispered, pointing with a trembling hand. "That one." Her mother's face paled. "Sweetheart, no. Not him. He's not safe." But the girl's gaze never wavered. Her voice carried strength far beyond her years. "I want to meet him." Silence fell over the corridor. A shelter worker nearby stiffened, shaking his head. "That shepherd isn't adoptable. He doesn't trust anyone." Yet the little girl leaned forward in her chair, her eyes locked on Titan's scarred face. For the first time in months, the shepherd didn't growl. He didn't bare his teeth. He simply stared back, something flickering in his amber eyes that no one else seemed to notice. And in that fragile moment, two broken souls saw each other, and everything began to change. The shelter staff exchanged uneasy glances. No one had ever asked to meet Titan before, not a single family, not a single visitor. His cage had always been the one people avoided, the one whispered about with caution. The little girl's insistence unsettled them. She sat straight in her wheelchair, her hand resting firmly on the armrest, eyes locked on the shepherd's shadowed figure. "Please," she said softly, her voice trembling with both fear and hope. Her mother knelt beside her, brushing hair from her face. "Sweetheart, he's not like the others. He's been hurt. He doesn't trust anyone. I don't want you near him." But the girl only whispered back, "Maybe that's why he needs me." The staff hesitated. Protocol said no. But something in the shepherd's stillness gave them pause. Titan wasn't snarling. He wasn't growling. He was just watching. His ears twitched as if listening. His chest rose and fell in deep, steady breaths. For a dog branded dangerous, his silence was louder than any bark. Finally, with a resigned sigh, one of the handlers unlocked the heavy kennel door. "We'll try," he warned. "But if he shows any sign of aggression, we end it immediately." The little girl nodded, gripping her mother's hand. The door creaked open, and Titan stepped forward. His massive paws patted across the concrete floor, his body tense, muscles coiled. The handler's knuckles whitened around the leash as he braced for a lunge. But it never came. Instead, Titan froze a few feet from the wheelchair. His amber eyes flicked to the girl's face, then down to her motionless legs, then back again. His ears twitched forward. The girl reached out a trembling hand. Her mother gasped, ready to pull her back, but Titan didn't move. He stood like a statue, every line of his body tight with caution, until, finally, he lowered his massive head. His scarred muzzle touched her tiny hand. The room fell silent. No growl, no snap, no sudden bite. Just a quiet exhale from the shepherd, his hot breath washing over her fingers as her small palm pressed gently against his fur. Tears welled in the mother's eyes. The handler stared, slack-jawed. For months, Titan had met every human touch with fury, every approach with warning. Yet here he stood, leaning into the hand of a fragile child. The girl smiled for the first time since entering the shelter. "See?" she whispered. "He's not mean. He's just sad." Titan blinked slowly, the hardness in his eyes softening ever so slightly. For the first time in a long time, his tail gave a single, hesitant thump against the floor. And in that moment, the impossible happened. The dog everyone feared, and the girl everyone pitied, found safety in each other's brokenness. For several long seconds, no one in the shelter spoke. Titan's massive head rested in the girl's hand, his breathing steady, his body oddly calm. The staff who had called him dangerous could hardly believe what they were seeing. But the moment didn't last. A volunteer approached slowly from the side, clipboard in hand, his shoes squeaking on the concrete. Titan's ears flicked back. His body stiffened. A low rumble vibrated from his chest, the kind of sound that made hearts skip and muscles lock. The girl's mother gasped. "Pull him back." The handler tightened the leash, panic flashing in his eyes. "He's going to snap." But Titan didn't move toward the volunteer. His entire body angled sharply in front of the wheelchair, his shoulders squared, his stance wide. The growl deepened, his amber eyes locked like a warning. The volunteer froze, fear etched on his face. "What's he doing?" The girl's small voice broke through the panic. Calm, certain. "He's protecting me." Her words silenced the chaos. Titan's growl wasn't wild or reckless. It was controlled, purposeful. He stood like a shield, his body pressed between the child and the stranger. The mother covered her mouth, tears welling. He knows." The handler loosened his grip slightly, realization dawning. This wasn't aggression. It was loyalty. Titan had chosen. The girl reached out again, brushing her fingers through the shepherd's coarse fur. The growl softened, fading into a heavy sigh as he leaned against her chair, pressing his weight into her side. "He's not broken," the girl whispered, her smile fragile but radiant. "He just needed someone to believe in him." For the first time in months, Titan's tail moved again, not a hesitant twitch this time. But a slow, deliberate wag. The shelter staff exchanged stunned looks. Everything they thought they knew about this dog shattered in that moment. He wasn't the monster they had labeled. He wasn't beyond saving. He was waiting all along for her. The mother knelt beside her daughter, her tears spilling freely as she whispered, "Maybe you were meant to find each other." The little girl rested her cheek against Titan's scarred head. "No," she said softly. "We were meant to save each other." The room was silent, except for the storm of emotions flooding every heart present. In the corner where shadows once ruled, a broken dog and a broken child had found light, and together they rewrote what everyone thought was impossible.